Hi there, this is John Kierstead from Arctic Spas Vancouver Island, bringing you another video. One of the features that is on the custom series spas, when you buy a custom series Arctic Spa, is a feature called OnSpa. And a lot of people have no idea what OnSpa is. And so when we talk to you about the connectivity of your spa, the custom series spas are now built like a smart TV. So they have their built-in Wi-Fi module that casts its own hotspot. So you can use your app. You can use the Arctic Spa app and control your spa this way, and lots of people do that. I don't, and the reason I don't is because when you use the portal, the Arctic Spa portal, so it's called My Arctic Spa portal, you create your account on the portal. It gives you all of the same things that you can do on the app, you can do through the portal, but for a technician or an Arctic Spa technician, it actually gives us a back door and we can actually see our customers' spas. And you might ask yourself, well, why is that important? But when we're trying to diagnose a problem or something that you might have with your spa, being able to go in and see, what the different aspects of your spa, and I'm going to show you some of that stuff so you can kind of see how this back door gives us some insight. Here's my spa at home. So this is my swim spa. You can see the temperature. So you as a client, when you log in, this is what you'd see. Of course, it would be your spa and your nickname that's there. It gives you your current temperature. You see here it's showing you the amount of amperage that it's drawing right now. So I have a small circulating pump on mine because my spa has peak 2 on it. We don't have peak 2 anymore, but that uses a circulation pump that's circulating for my ozone system. If I went into my Spa Boy status, you see my pH is a little bit low. And what's interesting is actually if you scroll over here, you can see the number. That my arrow is kind of hiding it a little bit, but you can actually see the reading. So it says it's 6.8. And because we know with the saltwater system, we know the pH always climbs up. 6.8 is almost neutral, right? So pH neutral is 7. And so I know that as my cell is producing sanitizer, it's also producing pH up, and it's going to increase my pH. So I'm not worried, even though it looks red. Lots of people go, oh no, my dot says it's red, I should panic. Well, realistically, if this number is close to 7, I'd just leave it, because in another 2 days it'll be 7, and it'll probably jump to this next dot and be yellow. And then in a few more days after that, it's going to be 7.2, and it'll be in this ideal range. And then when it hits 7.8, it'll be here, and when it hits 8, it'll be here. Once it hits here, I generally tell people you don't want your pH getting up to this level, because that's when metals and stuff can come out and you can get scaling and it can cause other problems. So that's when we'd bring the pH down. But because I know it's going to go up, then that's why I leave it at this point on my particular spa. You can see I have my chlorine range set to high because it's summertime and we live on the lake, and what happens is the kids and everybody go swimming in the lake, they get cold and they want to jump into the swim spa. So they jump into the all-weather pool. I have an Okanagan and I love it. We sit in there, warm up, and then back out into the water playing a game. Just like in the app, you could boost. So if I wanted to get this boosted, in fact, it looks like it's boosting right now. I hit this boost button, and what happens is this thing here will change in color, and my spa would start smoking, right? So if you go into settings, you can see all the different things that are here. For managing your spa, you could go in, you can manage your filtration. So I've got mine running 24 hours a day. You may have heard me say in videos that when your water's not quite right, or it doesn't look absolutely perfect, or if you're getting really heavy use and you want more ozonation and more filtration, you can't over filter your water. So I like my water looking sparkling clear, so that you could literally read a newspaper off the bottom of the floor. 3 feet, 4 feet down, I can still see my toes perfectly, and that means I have that crystal clear water that everybody loves. And so I keep my filtration up. Now sometimes people notice in the summertime, if this filtration cycle is set too long, you might find your spas overheating a little bit, especially if you're in sunlight. So you could just come in and you can lower this down. I could decrease the number of times a day it comes on, or I can move this down to 1 hour instead of 2 hours. So now it's going to come on however indicated, right? 8 times a day for 2 hours. Default actually is usually 8 hours a day. So I'll turn it back. My spa is looking spectacular, so I know this will be fine. They have this purging thing here, stop filtering if 3 degrees over set point. I've set that, so I don't, because I was on for 24 hours. I didn't want my spa to overheat, so I can set this toggle here, and you can toggle that just by turning it on and off, right? There's your automation. I recommend most people not do this. If you go to Spa Boy automation and you set it for a particular period of time, then this will only operate for that period of time. So essentially you've turned your Spa Boy into Onsen, right? So it's now operating on time. You can change that. If Spa Boy is in automatic mode, it's just basing on the sensor, right? So there's this manual and automatic setting. So we'll put it on automatic. You've got your peak management. I don't have really mine set, but you could, for people that are in areas where the power costs a different price during the day and at night it's cheaper, you can tell it during peak hours, turn the heater off, don't go into a filter cycle, don't ozonate, and then you can set the days of the week and stuff like this. Sometimes people also use this type of management to control when their spa comes on and off. So you can use these little toggles here to move when the spa is in peak hours and not peak hours, and that can tell you, you can set it so that now your spa is not running in the middle of the night or not coming into a filtration cycle in the middle of the night if it's waking your neighbors up or if it's underneath your window or something. You can use the peak power management to tell it not to come on during those times, right? And in places like Ontario, I know in Toronto for sure they have that peak power costs more. In several cities now, peak power costs more. And in Europe, lots of places use this peak management so that they can heat their spa during the period of time when the electricity costs the least, right? We have the spa configuration. Again, this is something I don't recommend customers go in. It allows us to toggle what's on the spa and change the configuration if it's a 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump spa. If you start playing with these things and you have 3 pumps and you turn pump 3 off, it's now going to think you only have 2 pumps, and so your pump 3 won't work. So generally this is best left to your dealer. If he needs to get in there or she needs to get in there to adjust it, leave that to them. Basically the ones you want to use here most of the time is that power management, your Spa Boy status, and filtration, right? From the main here, if I want to increase my temperature up, I can increase it. If I want to decrease my filter or temperature, I can decrease it. So you can just use that to do that. If I wanted to turn my pumps on, now anybody at home is going to hear my pump click on. They're going to hear the next pump click on. And you can see the amperage goes up at the same time, indicating that those, and they change color, showing that those are now on. And then I turn the jet pump off, and the amperage drops back down. It's back into filtering mode, right? Documentation. So this is really helpful for people that have lost their owner's manual or haven't read their owner's manual, or they forget how to unlock their spa or something. You can go in here and you can look at, okay, I have a 2019 spa. Here's all your manuals. Oh, this quick reference card. This is the one I wanted to show you. There, quick reference card. So the quick reference card just shows if I wanted to start the pump, I hit that key. If the indicator on the top side has a little triangle over top of it, means it's on. If it's flashing, it means it's on low speed. If it's on solid, it's on high speed. But things like, oh, we get this one a lot. Customers ask us, my kids locked the spa, how do I unlock it? So it says locking your spa. Press and hold the SDS button for 5 seconds. The display will show lock P, P representing partial lock. Release the button and the keypad will be in partial lock mode. Keep the button pressed and the keypad for 5 more seconds, it'll go into full lock, which means nobody can play with your keypad, right? And then to unlock the keypad, simply press and hold the SDS button again for 5 seconds. So that's how you can lock and unlock your thing. You can boost by holding your pump 2 button down. So just like we could do the boost from within the app, you can do that from the top side. So this is just your little cheat sheet on how to use your top side. But that information is all in it's also in your app, but it's also in this. So if you need that reference material, it's there, right? Under documentation. Lots of different things. Spa schools, there's links to the spa schools, there are links to how do I connect to the web, how do I do these things, what do these error codes mean. All of that stuff is in here. Here's your actual error codes that can show up. If something was going wrong, it would have an error showing here. And a log. This log is actually really important, because what this log does is it tells me if I've had an error. And so you see I had an error when I first put my pH down in. I got my pH too low, and so it was at 6.5 or less than 6.5, so it logged that. And now I actually have, you saw earlier it's 6.8, so it's gone up. It was close enough that I wasn't that concerned. But if your pH is too low, it's going to lower the life cycle of your electrode, because that pH is acidic and it can strip that off. So you definitely want to pay attention to these. pH too high is the opposite, right? So if my pH was too high, I added the pH decreaser and it went too low, right? Again, not playing a game of adding chemicals and stuff back and forth. I don't want to do that. So if I'm close, I just leave it and it will show. This error log is particularly important if people have problems with their spa. The technician can log into this, see this error log, and get some additional information before we send a technician out. I don't know that customers have access to this, but of course your local dealer will. Same with this one here where we have diagnostics. This diagnostics is primarily for technicians, and it allows us to go in and see things. So we can see, I can see the exact pH, I can see the exact ORP, I can see that my electrode is quite new, right? I can tell from the resistance that's showing up here. And there's these different parameters that we can set the pH load. But the most important thing about this is that I can look up anybody's spa, right? So I can see anybody's spa and I can make adjustments and do things to their spas remotely. I can even reset their spa remotely. This is a soft reset, so it's not the same as turning your breaker all the way on and all the way off. But in a lot of times when there's an error that can be cleared through a reset, like for instance you had an overheat or something, I can just do a soft reset remotely and you're back in business. I can also, sometimes people have old firmware and that's why they're having problems. We can go in here and we can change the firmware. So we can change the firmware on the pack, we can change it on the processor card, and we can change the firmware of SpaBoy. So let's say you are somebody that wanted to have a Duo, SpaBoy Duo. We'd upgrade the firmware to a version of the firmware that allows Duo, and then we'd be able to add it. Again, this is something that I don't recommend customers upgrade firmware at all. Unless the dealer does it for you or recommends that you do it, don't play with your firmware, because you may turn your spa. You know, a lot of times when this stuff comes out, there's a few little bugs still in there that haven't been worked out. So the factory runs in their corporate stores, and in the factory they run the firmware for several months, and then the local dealers often run the firmware for several months with the spas that we have in the showroom, until we're confident that we're not going to put something on your spa that's going to make it behave incorrectly. We call unintended consequences, right? Profile, of course you can upgrade your profile, security questions, registering your spa. When you first hook up your hot tub, your technician usually does this for you, but you could do this yourself as well. So you register your spa. Removing a spa is also something that we can do. As the homeowner, you can remove your spa if you were going to sell it. Just like a computer, you want to blank it out, you can remove the spa from this, and then the next person can register that spa again for themselves. So if you're selling your spa, make sure you remove the spa from this. Otherwise, the dealer's going to have to go in and manually remove that person from there so that the new person can use that. on there. And that's basically it. Everything else here gives you control. I'm going to turn my lights on. Everything that you want, all remotely. What's really cool about this is that my spa is like, it's about 40 minutes away from the store here, and I'm controlling it. But I could literally be anywhere in the world and be controlling the spa. This is a lot different than what you see on other spas. Some other spas, and even on our our classic series or our core series spas or the Be Well spas, we can have Gecko's version of this where we're able to remotely access your spa, but it's more for turning your controls up and for turning your light on, turning your jets on. You can make minor adjustments, but you can't do the deep dive stuff where we can see error codes and where we can see actual readings from the spa that will allow you to do things that you just cannot do with the Gecko version of this. In Touch, they call it. And that's the My Arctic Spa portal, or what we call OnSpa. So when you're reading the features of your spa, when you're getting quoted and you want to know more about OnSpa or what they're referring to, this is what they're referring to, this remote access for you and for your dealer. I'm John Kierstead from Arctic Spas, Vancouver Island. Thank you for watching.